The first item of business will be roll call, and we have everyone present. And I guess first thing be superintendent's comments. He may have several this time.
First off, I'd like to thank the Ministerial Association for the wonderful baccalaureate non-traditional service. I mean, the kids were great. The sermon was great, and I'd like to thank them for putting that on for our kids. The senior class has gone through a lot, but they have been recognized more than most senior classes ever. But it's in a different way. They're having parades. They're having their own video. They've had drive-through signs. They've had signs in the yards, and I think T-shirts are coming. So we have not forgot about them, but we have done a whole lot for the senior class, and the community has. And I'd like to thank also Tom Carr for all the pictures he's done around the drive. I think that was a very wonderful showing at the high school.
It was.
And all the signs at the schools he's helped get for all the teachers and the kids. So I thank him for that. Just a reminder, our senior graduation parade starts at 6 this Friday. It'll be at Meyer Creek Park, and everyone needs to get there early, say around 5 o'clock, because it could get a lot of crowded places. I'm going to read the guidelines here just a second that has been given to us that we have to share with everybody. And a reminder, these are in accordance to the CDC, the governor's directive to the state agencies and schools, and lastly, the McLean County Court directive. So basically, we're following what we've been told to say. So at the parade, there'll be one vehicle per graduate. Parents and immediate family members and same household may accompany the graduates in the vehicle. Public viewing of the parade will be at Meyer Creek Park. Public interest for the parade, the public interest will be at the west entrance. That's the old chip plant entrance. That's where all the public will come. They'll come in that way, and there will be parking attendants for direct vehicles to designated spaces to maximize capacity and maintain appropriate social distancing requirements. Spectators must remain in vehicles at all times. Pre-parade commentary, pre-parade commentary, and parade music will be broadcast on 87.9. So these are the guidance that we've been given. I've heard the different things about football fields. I'm just going to go announce this to everybody. We can't do it on a football field. We have to have spacing. Nobody can get out of the cars. Nobody can walk up, watch. Nobody can see. The main thing is the safety of all the cars. They're going to be stranded on Highway 136, and that's just basically that's been told that's not going to work. So I just wanted to put that out there that we are doing the only place in McLean County that everybody has come together in meetings after meetings, that the safety of the people plus the social distancing rules, the guidance of CDC and the governor, and this is where we have the only ability to do it. And wish we could have a regular. We will, like I said, we proved last month, we will if we ever able to, and in the future. So hopefully we can get something for them later on. But right now we're celebrating our kids and the countless hours. I'd like to thank our administration, staff in this central office, but mainly at the high school for all the countless hours they have put in for to make this happen for their kids. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the new virtual meetings we're having with our administration. We're calling it now the Administration Task Force. Basically, it's like our admin meetings, but we have our own admin meetings for different things. But this task force is basically for reopening in the fall. Katie has given us a document, a reopening guidance document for schools for next year. Just going to tell you, it's giving me a headache, and it's 16 pages, and I'm down through a little bit of it. They told us to start planning for multiple school calendars. Now, we approved already opening of school next year is August 5th, and that count is already should be or will be turned in the state here shortly. We only have to turn in one calendar. That's done, but we have to plan for multiple scenarios, which we don't know what's going to happen. So that's what is kind of frustrating. Also know that this KD reopening guidance document is so-called what they say is a living document that could change daily according to new updates from CDCs and all this other stuff. So what we plan today may not be able to do tomorrow or all year. We plan for four or five different scenarios, may not have to be able to do any of them. So, but we have to start planning because the logistics of these planning is ridiculous. We've met weekly the last couple of weeks with the principals of all schools in our central office because it will touch each one of us. I'll give you an example. The first one the governor said to plan for, which I will not recommend to you because it says start in July. Then plan for reclosing. That way you get the kids in early. We're starting early enough at August 5th. I will not say this to a parent that this was a vacation. There's these kids, these parents been in their houses, in their homes for most of this time since March 16th. And if they do get a little bit of time, this hasn't been a vacation for them. They need to get away. I'm giving them, let them get away. So August 5th is the earliest I plan, unless I'm made to. This is a recommendation he said to plan for. He's never said he's going to tell you, but you know how that goes sometimes. He said to just plan for different scenarios. I have talked to a few superintendents that we all believe this is not going to be open in July. There's no way kids are going to be able to get in school by July. But they said plan for an early start, which I'm not doing in July. We're opening up, which is a traditionals number 2 opening. Our traditionals we've already planned. It's August 5th. That's early enough. And we've already done it, and I'd say that's the earliest we go. That's my opinion. The last one is what's making us have a whole lot of headaches. Basically, it's called the late opening, and there's multiple scenarios to this late opening, and we got to plan for each one. One that could be we could plan. The state now says that August 26th or 24th, the Monday before Labor Day, if you take that alternative route, and they said plan for either September or October openings. But the law states if you take August 26th, we would start on Wednesday, not the 24th. So if that was something we would look at, the 26th or after Labor Day, that is automatically waived the 170-day instructional days for students. That would automatically transfer to the 1,062 hours. That is put in law a few years ago. If you remember, they want everybody started later for the tourists after Labor. They gave us a break. You don't have to go 170 instruct. If you go earlier, you have to do at least 170. We usually do 172 instructional for our kids, but if you go after Labor, if we are made to go, we can't start till September or October, we'll have to do 1,062 hours. That's with that internally. How do we going to be able to start? Are they going to have a limit of students that we're allowed to bring? Is it going to be A, B? Is it going to be a week at a time? Is it going to be every other day? Half the kids at home on NTI doing performance classes, or in the other half at school. That then turns into how you're going to feed them at home, how you're going to feed them in school, because they can't come into the commissary because you got to have social distancing. How you got to make sure you have your hand sanitizers. How are we going to social distance on the buses? So when we say we've been putting us together in our heads, we're doing our initial talking, but there's always a question on top of a question on top of a question. How are we going to do this? Then the last one would be if we can't get everybody in. I'm at a point where if we're still having to wear, kids and us will have to wear a mask at this time, made to, we're not going to be in school. We're going to NTI because, number one, kids how do you social distance kids anyway, especially the little bitty ones? They haven't seen their friends forever. But, you know, this document, I know our central office, I've talked to them. We're meeting Tuesday on a virtual for this task force with everybody, the principals and the central office. But I'm meeting on Friday with my central office because I'm told each one of them, we're meeting beforehand because we're going to pick this thing apart and have a beginning talk phase. So when we go to the principals, we could give them things to think about to bring back to us. So, and like I said, this document is a living document and it may change by then. So who knows? So that's just a little bit of the things we've been working on. And as the commissioner said to us, I know it's difficult to plan when you don't know what to plan for. And that's what we're doing. And that's the true thing about it. In one other thing, according to in this document, it says also prepare for intermittent closures, meaning we may be open, then we may be closed. We may come back open, maybe go back closed, depending on the spikes of the virus. So next year is going to be interesting, but I promise you this: I'm blessed to have a staff and administration and the principals in the schools that we've been working, and they're going to work, and we're going to put the best thing we can out there for your kids, and that's all I can say, and I thank them for that. I'm just going to make later on with this COVID-19, David and I will discuss more, David, because he's been more in the finance part of it, but I've been in some meetings of it. We had one yesterday with some of our central office to discussing. We have received we're going to receive our CARES Act money, and we've received a substantial amount of relief money. Relief money is not stimulus, meaning you just can't use it for anything you want to. You got to use it for what we've been kind of hurt on. So we're going to give you some ideas of what we're allowed to use it on and kind of give you on that part. And I think, David, we've had a discussion on that a lot more here lately, yesterday especially, because there's a lot of different areas. But just letting you know, we have received some money back. So we're going to share with you on that later on when we get to it in Thursday night agenda for the consent item. So that's all I have, and thank you for all you do.
Mr. Burrow, are there signs to show the parents and everyone where to go to get to Meyer Creek from over to the old chip plant, or will there be any signs?
I don't know that the county didn't say that. I just know we posted this. What I read, it's been posted everywhere and been in paper. It was in the paper. They go through the old chip plant area, and there'll be people directing. They'll have the Judge Dame has said they'll be having staff, and possible some of our staff may be saying come follow this way, and there'll be people that will be parking the parents.
All right. Thank you.
And we've had to make a sign. The judge wanted a sign. We have to put up a sign of the rules up there and everything else. So the high school is Miss Tara on here or Barry? Either one.
I think I've been seeing Barry on there on the where it shows the names at the top.
Well,
yes, we are. Mr. Enoch was making a sign yesterday to give them directions and guidance as far as the route and what to go through for Meyer Creek. Miss Howard is taking over most of that stuff along with Coach Searcy. He also has it mapped out for us.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. I guess the first item on it would be approval of individual action items. Consider approval of April 23rd, 2020 special call board meeting. And I don't know if anyone has had an opportunity to look on the minutes from the last meeting. Take a few moments, take a glance at it if you haven't. As you do get through with it, please let me know, signifying your name, so I don't want to rush anyone, but we'll try to keep it moving along.
I'm good. Angie Bumpus.
Thank you, Miss Angie.
I'm good, Mr. Miller.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riggs.
Yes, I'm good with it.
All right,
I'm good, Mrs. Sutton.
already. All right. So with that, Mr. Burrow, do you have a recommendation?
I recommend we approve the April 23rd, 2020 special call board meeting minutes.
All right, thank you. You heard the recommendation. Do anyone propose a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Ms. Bumpus.
I'll second Miss Sutton.
All right, Ms. Sutton, motion made and second. If no other discussion, all signify by saying yes.
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 Any noes? Not? All right, pass 5-0. All right, the next thing is the May 21st board meeting agenda. And I guess we'll go over that. Excuse me just a moment. The lights have gone off in here, but you could go ahead and continue.
Of course, May is usually my last month that I give the evidence because we won't have classes in June and for trying to get some of that stuff. And we'll be working on trying to hire and stuff like that. So you'll receive this last May, my superintendent evidence for the year. Then I'll start back in August with a new one for the new company year. You'll have the minutes, of course. Ms. Shannon, do you want to talk about the new certified evaluation plan? I know it's probably back to normal, maybe that we possibly have to change back to where we were or change because we don't know where we're going.
Actually, this change is due to KDE changing the standards that principals and assistant principals are going to be evaluated on. So it kind of took out a whole section in our CEP because we had 3 sections, one for teachers and like media specialists and psychologists, other professionals are what they're called. Then we had the principal and assistant principal section, and then we had district certified personnel, which are those like here at central office. So we were all evaluated under 3 different sets of standards. And so this year, KDE wants us to rewrite our certified evaluation plan so that the principal and assistant principal are evaluated under the same standards that the district certified personnel are. So in essence, what I did was took out the the principal and assistant principal section and just renamed the district certified personnel section to include principals and assistant principals. All the forms, again, I did the same. I took out all the forms that had just principal and assistant principal and added that title to the district certified personnel forms. And so it kind of made our certified plan a little more compact and consistent so that all the administrators are evaluated on the same standards. So I do have to get that approved by the board, and I will have a final copy attached to the board meeting on Thursday. And then I have to send in before June 15th to KDE for them to approve that. So I'm just seeking approval for that new revision to the CEP.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lindsay. Next, I think Mr. Stokes about the audit contract.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The audit contract is a standard form. It's mandated by KDE. It is between the district and the chosen auditor. And as the board approved last month, our auditor is Alfred Nance Jones and Oakley, and they are going to perform our audit for the same price as last year with no increase. So as all contracts have to be, I'm just asking for the board to approve this before Mr. Burrow signs it and we send it in.
All right, thank you. And I think you have the next also approval of the 2021 salary schedule.
What we're asking you to approve is the exact same salary schedule as we used this year. While we remain committed to trying to increase salaries and catch up with surrounding counties, the pandemic has caused us some financial uncertainty. And so as of right now, we're asking to do the same salary schedule, but please know, with me and Mr. Burrow asking this, we are still going to look to maybe do some minimal increases that probably not across the board, but maybe at the entry level for teachers to recruit better.
All right, thank you.
And Mr. David, we still have to next month, so we've been on different things lately from graduation. David's been working on the tentative budget, but we may be bringing this. Well, I know we probably be bringing this not surplus, but salary schedule back to you with some changes, and we'll let you know what all the changes are. But we just want to get it approved. We know when we're going to keep the same from last year, but there will probably be some changes in there for you.
There is a statutory regulation that we have to let our staff know of their salary for next year. And so by doing this, the board is letting the staff know that there will be no decreases in salary. And so that we are meeting the requirement by approving it at this meeting, and hopefully we will be able to find some way to increase some slots minimally next month.
All right.
One of the areas that are really needed to be addressed. That's what we want to look at. So, thank you, David.
Thank you. I think next, Mr. Troutman, I think you've got a few different things to go over. Surplus property, I believe, is first.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. What I have is we have various different items of surplus property that I'm trying to finish up the list today. You will have that detailed list Thursday at the meeting, but it's really basically just things like some textbooks, some student desks, or a few filing cabinets. Those are the main things, but in that detailed list would have a total number and then kind of a detailed description of what we're looking to surplus.
All right. All right. And then next would be, let's see, the approval for bids.
Yes, of course, each year we bid out several different items. The first items are custodial supplies. You should have a paper form in your packet. What we have here obviously is highlighted would be the cheapest price and which vendor that would be. But I would like to ask that we approve all of these bids. What's highlighted is what we're typically going to try to go with. However, there are times that whoever may be the cheapest, that supply is on back order. There are a few times if a custodian comes to me and says, even though it's the cheapest price, I'm using more of this product because it's not as durable as maybe a competitor's bid. It was just a few pennies higher. But again, what's highlighted is what we would tell the custodians that they need to use. If they had a reason that they wanted to go with something else, they would run that by me.
All right. All right. And then what, yearbooks?
On the other three, excuse me, on yearbooks, yes, there were two bids. And speaking to both middle school and high school, those bids were the same price between Balfour and Johnston's, but both middle school and high school, speaking to the yearbook advisors, they have used Johnston's in the past, and both would like to continue to go with that company. And then on the other two, there was only one bid for the physicals and the waste removal. Republic Services for our trash. It's the exact same price as it was last year. And again, there was only one person that bid that. And the same holds true for physicals. Only one of our healthcare providers here in the county bid on that as well.
Good. All right. Thank you. Anyone have any questions on that? If not, all right, we'll move on to, I think it's back to Mr. Stokes again. Consider approval of the GER Assurances CARES Act. Mr. Riggs? I'm sorry, Mr. Stokes.
Yes, sir. As Mr. Burrow mentioned in his opening remarks, the district will receive some funds. Both of these grants, both G and H, are CARES Act. It's federal money. And the important thing to know on the GEER, the G stands for governor. So that was the money that was sent to all the governors. And for that, we're going to receive about $52,500. On letter H, the ESSER CARES Act money, it is the E and S to start that is elementary and secondary. So that's just for the schools. And those are basically coming directly to the schools. Both are coming through KDE. So any federal monies that the board receives, there are a set of assurances for us to check mark that we will follow in order to receive the money. So we're asking the board to do that, to approve these assurances. And so the ESSER money, we're looking at getting about $311,250. They have given us a formula to calculate these funds. They have not put it in writing exactly how much we're going to get yet. But the two added together is approximately $363,750. So while that is a nice injection into our budget, as you'll hear me when we go over the tentative budget, our SEEK is going to drop from this year to next year $500,000. So while this money will help, it is just really a Band-Aid for an open wound. So as Mr. Burrow mentioned, we're trying to use this money to not have to cut any services for our students.
All right. Thank you. Next item would be Ms. Sherry Turley. Consider approval of 2021 Mountain Comprehensive Care Center agreement. Ms. Sherry?
Sorry, I had trouble getting my microphone back on.
That's all right.
Yes, the Mountain Comprehensive Care is the agreement we have had this past year. They have provided counselors that work in our buildings with our students, and the only thing that we do is provide them space and access to phone and internet. And so that agreement is for the upcoming school year.
All right.
And there's on the KDE guidance for reopening, there's a multiple times in there it's talking about mental health and providing how we're going to help these kids and staff and families. But so having Mountain Comp in our district is nice. Because I guess everybody, my administrators are going to read this. That's one of the part of the things we got to plan for reopening is how to help these kids mentally.
Yes, I'm sure there'll be some of that also.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Ms. Turley, I think you have one more.
Yes, the contract with Wendell Foster for our occupational and physical therapy, just renewing that contract for next year, and there are no changes from the current year contract.
All right, thank you. All right, next item, it's approve the bills for Thursday night. I think you have a list of those that we can take with us and go over those at home. And approve of tentative budget. Mr. Burrow, do you want to say anything about any of these that's coming out? I guess the amended calendar, you've already spoke about that also, haven't you?
Well, no, the amended calendar, well, just a little bit. This one here is for this school year. I think, I know David's going to talk in a minute. Right now, I'll let David talk about the budget, but Ashley is going to talk about this school year, because we approved a budget at the beginning of the year. If I'm not mistaken, this next one Ashley's going to talk about is this calendar that we have to turn in to state that what we did. You know, we went on NTI. We didn't have that on the original calendar we turned in. I think this is going to be what we actually did. We have to turn in at the end of the year. Am I correct on that? Mr. Troutman? Hello?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Stokes, you want to talk about the tentative budget?
Yes, sir. The tentative budget that we'll bring to you on Thursday night is something that me and Mr. Burrow discuss all year long. Just a reminder, there are 3 budgets that we do: a draft budget in January, a tentative budget in May, and then we actually do our actual budget that we work with, called the working budget, in September. What a tentative budget is going to be is it's going to be very similar to what last year's budget was, with updated revenues and updated salaries. And it kind of helps us plan on, all right, we know our salaries are going up just because of step increases, because a step increase is whenever a staff member gains a year of experience. In several of our salary schedule quadrants, there is an increase for a year of experience. Not in all of them, but in several. So the salaries go up simply because of those increases. Our revenues are going down. As I mentioned earlier, our SEEK is going down. Last year, or this current year, we're going to receive $6.2 million. In 18, the previous year, we received 6.38. And in 16-17, we were at 6.5 million. So in 3 years, we've gone from 6.5 to 5.7. So that is pretty easy math. It's $700,000 of the state money that we'll be operating on less than we were 3 school years ago from this one. So back to my point, the revenues are updated, the salaries are updated. Over the summer, we'll be doing averaging and trending to get more accurate numbers for the working budget. So the tentative budget that we are asking you to approve is a plan, but we are aware that we'll have staffing changes and other things and items that come up over the summer before school starts that we will have to deal with. Obviously, we will have to deal with some extra expenses because of this pandemic. And those will be in our working budget. But for now, this is a plan. Tentative does mean tentative, and it's doing a budget with the data we know right now.
All right.
Any questions from the board members on the tentative budget?
Not for me.
No.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Mr. Stokes. And I guess the next, Thursday night I'll be giving the treasurer's report, and the rest of it is information items. That's really all I think we have for right now. Mr. Burrow or someone else may have some other comments to make.
Well, I think we go back to the original, today's agenda. I have one more on there that I'm going to be announcing. I'd like to welcome, I'd like everybody to give a welcome to Mr. Barry Nelson. I will be naming him as interim principal of McLean County High School for next year. Under the law, I'm allowed to place an interim for 1 year. And Mr. Nelson has been in that school for the last 2 years as assistant principal. And with having a new principal and 2 new assistant principals, I thought the school needed some stability, and I'm confident that Mr. Nelson will do a wonderful job, worked with him for years. So congratulations, Mr. Nelson, on being named the McLean County principal for 2020-21 school year.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Happy
Thank you,
about
Mr.
that.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow, and thank you, board members. We will keep moving forward and hopefully make things, build on things that we've already begun to put in place. Ms. Howard done a great job prior to me, and we want to continue those as well as get even better.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. All right. Anyone else have anything else? Mr. Burrow, do you have?
That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
I just have a question. How is the central staff working? Are they all, sorry, are they all like just trading days coming in and working
Yeah,
or
according
working
to
from home?
according to the directives, we've had a schedule for somebody being here, at least two here, I think, all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I think this year we're going to, if I'm not mistaken, David, we're going to 3 classified staff. Far as for certified, they're able to stay at home. Some of them have, some of them come in a couple times a week. Obviously, I come in about every day because each day if somebody's got questions for me, it's just easier for me to be here and be at home on a computer. But and plus, with during the NTI, I had a wife on it and I had a daughter, 2 daughters on my internet at home, and I'd rather been here because where I live, I don't get very much signal. So I'm here every day. It just rotation. We have used the on-call like the governor suggests sometimes. On a slow day, I think I've used it a couple times. Just saying, today I don't have anything on my calendar. I'm gonna go home and I'll be at home if you need me. But mostly, everybody, you can pick up the phone and everybody's working if they're at home. So
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, if everybody, how that was working out,
it worked. It's a lot easier. Just trust me. It's a lot easier when everybody's here, the face to face, organize a meeting over like this. It's frustrating sometimes, but we're getting it done. I mean, everybody's working hard.
Yeah.
So,
Are we going to be meeting at 6:30?
no, 12 o'clock will be next Thursday. 2 days from now, or 12 o'clock.
2 days from now.
We'll do 12 o'clock. All virtual meetings, as long as we're still doing virtual, we'll do 12 o'clock. If that kind of what y'all.
No night meetings, yay.
Not right now, no. Not to
2 days would be.
What's that?
That's fine.
Yes. And I think the last time I talked to y'all that in 2020, 21, I mentioned to you last month that instead of 6:30, we're going to look for next school year's board meetings be 5:30 to get home a little earlier than, so basically that part. So I thank you for that. And our staff does too. That makes a long day.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it a lot better too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All righty.
So all of us are to be here at 12 o'clock Thursday then.
Yeah, we're going to do the exact same thing like today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
Nothing else. Do I hear someone entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Riggs, second.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Bumpus. All right.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? I hear no. So we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.